Hey guys, my name is Holly, and today I wanted to share with you a story of how I found Jesus. And it's a very long story, so I'm not going to share the whole thing, but I will share some main points. So, starting from the beginning, I grew up in a Catholic family, and growing up, I actually really did have a pretty good relationship with God. I prayed, and my parents didn't have to tell me to pray. I didn't have to pray, with them. We actually never really prayed much as a family, but I would go off on my own and, just talk to God about my life and my struggles. And I was bullied a lot as a kid, so God was really just someone that I relied on, someone that I needed in my day-to-day life. I would actually go to school sometimes and talk to kids about Jesus and talk to kids about how much Jesus loves them. And I think that's probably why I was bullied, a little bit why I was bullied. I was just kind of a weird child, definitely not like the other children. But yeah, I would say I definitely had, a very good relationship with God, and it was very strong, and it was something that brought me so much joy in my life, even when things weren't so joyful. So when I reached high school years, I met a guy, and we kind of got involved with each other, and he happened to be atheist. And up until this point, I was kind of like how I mentioned, I had a really good relationship with God. I prayed every single night. I just really, really wanted to stay close to him in my life. And he was so important to me, so important to me. So when I met this guy who was an atheist, and we kind of got into, I wouldn't say a relationship, but it was kind of a romantic relationship. He was an atheist, so we talked a lot about religion and about atheism, and we kind of argued a lot back and forth, who's right, who's wrong. And eventually, he would say things like believing in God is basically like believing in Santa Claus. So it kind of made me feel so stupid, and I kind of already had low self-esteem in that area, because some of the things that I went through in elementary school and middle school, I always kind of felt like I wasn't very smart growing up. So when he was insulting my intelligence by telling me, believing in God is like believing in Santa Claus, I was just I felt very offended, and very much maybe I am just stupid. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. When you're so young, it's hard to really know what's true and what's not, because your parents really gave you the foundation of everything you really believe and everything you do. They really are the ones that pass that down to you. So you don't know. Maybe that they lied to you. I don't know. So eventually, months after we got really into our relationship, I don't know what it was, but relationship, I stopped believing in God. I just gave up. It was like a battle that was going on within me for so long, and I was to the point where I was just kind of broken inside from these battles. And I really loved the guy a lot, and I just was fine, I guess God's not real. And it was the most heartbreaking thing that anyone could ever experience. It's like losing a parent. It's really like losing a parent. That's what it felt like. Someone literally just grabbed into my heart and pulled it out. That's what it felt like. And I actually remember that day very vividly, of when I actually just started thinking to myself, God isn't real. I've been lied to. It doesn't matter. All these times that I've been talking to God, I've just been talking. God doesn't hear me. And it was just really hard. It was really depressing, and I fell into like this really, really dark time in my life. Like, what is the point of living now? Like, why am I even here? Like, what's the point? Like, is there a point? Like, it doesn't feel like it. And that's kind of the thoughts that I kept falling into, and it was just like so depressing. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had this dark burden over me, and I just felt like I was just like this dark cloud walking around. And I was anxious all the time. I was paranoid all the time. Like, everything in my mind changed. I went from being this happy, joyful person that just had like a really happy-go-lucky spirit to this person that was just so heavy, and I didn't even recognize myself. So I spent the rest of my high school years very depressed. I had an internet addiction, and I still kind of do, but let's not talk about that. I got into an internet addiction. I guess this is where it all began, and I literally just sat in my room all day. And my parents kind of did their own thing. They were both working, so I don't think they noticed much, but yeah, that's really all I did, is I just sat in my room. I come home from school, I just sat in my room. Some days I didn't even go to school because I was so depressed, and I just couldn't handle life. Life was just too much for me to bear. I started gaining weight, and then I would lose weight and gain weight back. It was really depressing, and just all these like terrible thoughts were always going through my mind, and I just had lost my best friend. I had lost the one thing that meant the most to me, and I had no one to talk to anymore. And gosh, it makes me want to cry. Yeah, it was really sad. Anyways, wow, I did not think I was gonna cry. Okay. My dog just left. He doesn't like it when I cry. Anyways, so yeah, I lost my best friend, and so I went to college, and college was pretty much the same as high school, except for a lot more drama. And I was actually a virgin when I entered college, and a lot of people, kind of made fun of me for it. We're just like, I can't believe you're still a virgin. Like, maybe you should lose your virginity here, and like just kind of like made it seem like nothing. Like, go to a party, meet a guy, and like see what it's like. Like, that's just how it was talked about. And so I ended up doing a lot of stupid things in college, and things that I really do. I try not to have any regrets in my life, but I will say that I have some serious regrets of some of the romantic relationships that I was in during my college time. I felt like I couldn't find what I was looking for anywhere. Like, I just needed someone to fill this void in me, and I was searching for it so hard, and I just wanted to find it. And I was looking for it in men. I was looking for it in a romantic relationship, and I ended up just finding these men who were just like using me, and they wouldn't text me back, and they wouldn't even say that we were in a relationship. It was kind of just like, what is this? Are we dating? Are we not? Are you just using me? Like, what? And that was kind of like what the relationships that I was in looked like. And it got to a point that my senior year of college, actually, I had this really bad relationship. It was so stupid and a waste of time, and I really just said, like, I'm done dating like this is so stupid. I'm not having sex till I am married. And I really did that out of like kind of just anger and frustration at these men that were just using me. And I finally got so fed up to a point where I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this. This is so stupid. Like, it's taking so much energy from my body just to like give to them, and they're just like taking and not giving, anything back. So I was just done with it. It was stupid. And so right after I ended the relationship with the guy that I was with, I decided that I was going to go woof in Hawaii. And kind of out of nowhere I decided this. It was very sporadic and like out of nowhere. Like literally I bought my ticket in May and I decided I was going to go in May, and in June I left. So there wasn't much planning. But I just knew that I wanted to do it, and I knew that it just felt like something I needed to do to get out of my comfort zone and to just see the world. And I don't know, I just felt like this pull to go. So June 15th, 2017, I got on a plane and I left to Hawaii. And that was a very significant day for me because it followed so many important events in my life. I got to a farm in Hawaii, and it was crazy. It was really crazy. We were going on all these crazy adventures, doing really what I felt like was incredibly dangerous things, risking my life, that it felt like. And it's, for some reason in Hawaii, I just had this trust. Like, I felt like something was protecting me. I felt like just something was surrounding me and guarding me and protecting me. Even when I first got there, when I first stepped foot on the island, Big Island, I was on the Big Island, and I just felt like this protection over me. And I just felt like no matter what happened here, I'm going to be okay. And I didn't understand that feeling, but it's just something that I felt. And I haven't felt that anywhere else in the world, but I felt it in Hawaii, and it was really, really cool. So a week and a half after I was on the farm, the guy I was at the farmer person, the host that I was staying with, he told me to leave. And I was so devastated. I was just like, what do I even do? Like, this is horrible. And I really just packed up my bags, and I was like, okay, well, I'm leaving, I'm gonna leave. So he drove me to the Hilo hostel in Hilo, and I stayed there for a couple nights, and he also told another girl to leave as well. So we were just kind of like stranded in Hilo together, and it was very, very messy. We didn't know what to do, and I was just searching for something. I was searching for something to like help me, and I was just so lost at that point. I did not really trust anyone, and I was just so lost, and I thought maybe I should just go back home, but that something in me knew that I just couldn't. Like, I had to stick it out, and I was running out of money, so it was very complicated to figure out how that was going to work out, but I just had to trust that it would, and I did. I just trusted that it would work out. And so there was a girl online who had made videos about moving in Hawaii, and I kind of contacted her before I left for Hawaii. Her name's Jasmine Davis here on YouTube, and I contacted her. And I said, hey, do you have any advice for me? I got kicked out of this farm. I don't know where to go. Please, like, anything would help. And so she gave me the contact information of the person that she was with, or the person that she stayed with when she was in Hawaii. And I went and stayed at his place for rent. I rented his place out, or a room at his place. And I was just so grateful in that moment. And I was just to have a place and have it just be like stable. I can stay here for a month and just relax, because it was kind of traumatic. It was probably one of the most traumatic experiences I had ever been a part of, like being on a farm and being kicked off, not having anywhere to go, not having any family around, not having anyone I know. It was pretty traumatic. So I really was just trying to relax and just and at this time, I would say I was really into law of attraction thinking. So I was really trying to manifest like friends and cool experiences and things like that. And I would kind of just like put things out into the universe and just be like, I have a really nice friend. I have a really nice friend. And I just kind of said things like that. And that's where my mind was at. That's where I was spiritually. I was really into the law of attraction stuff and astrology and stuff like that. But one day when I decided to walk. Well, okay, I had a lot of really, really awesome experiences in Hawaii. Like, there was a time I was at it was a coffee shop. I was at a coffee shop, and this older Hawaiian woman, we were talking about like politics or something like that. And me and the girl who had also been kicked off the farm were there together, and we told her a little bit of our story. And she, warned us of some bad things that could happen, and told us not to hitchhike, and just like gave us a lot of really good advice. And she just started praying for us. She just like held our hands, and like in the middle of the coffee shop, like everyone was holding hands and praying to God. And it was just so beautiful to me. Like, I just had never seen anything like that. And she was just praying for us, and she was praying for just everything that's going on in the world. And her heart was just so like full of passion while she was praying, and you could just tell she had like this deep relationship with God. And I started crying as she was praying. I just started crying, and a seed was growing in my heart. A seed started growing in my heart, and I was starting to feel connected to God again, which was something that I never thought would happen or expected to happen. And so after that experience, a couple of days later, me and my friend were hitchhiking to a beach, and we saw this guy on our way hitchhiking, and he looked really happy. And he started talking to us, and he started talking to us about Jesus. And I kind of like didn't really want to hear about it, but I also like really wanted someone to talk to, and just human connection, because I felt like I was lacking it at the time. So we talked, and he met up with us later at the beach, and also he prayed for us. And my friend was talking to him about how she thought that I would be like a really good mom, and like he prayed that I would find a husband and that I would be a mom. And it was just so pure. And like the beach was beautiful that night. There was a beautiful sunset. It was a beautiful beach, and he was just praying for us. And it was just so like, I started crying again, and I just felt so like loved and so connected to God, and I hadn't felt that way in a long time. So it was just really cool. I was just really grateful for that experience. And a couple of days later after that, a roommate that I had in the house that I was living in just randomly asked me to go out for coffee with him. And so I was like, sure, why not? And we went out, and I talked to him, and he was like a born-again Christian, and we talked and talked and talked for like hours, and just talked about God. And that night I had really fallen in love again with God, and who is now my husband. That guy I married 5 weeks after we had that conversation in the coffee shop. We talked for like hours that night, and we just fell in love with each other very deeply, and it was so real. And last year we got married, so we've been together for a year now. But yeah, God has really just been there for me in like really dark times. And in February of this year I got baptized. It's been a slow process. Like last year in the summertime is when I really found Jesus. I really found God. And I just realized, everything God had done for me, dying on the cross for me, and like how I was living in such disgusting sin. And he just covered me in his blood. He just covered me and made me whole again. And I am forever grateful for that. I am forever grateful to be chosen to be a child of God. That is a privilege that not everyone gets, and I am so eternally grateful that I have that. There's nothing I've ever been more grateful for. And it's just like this connection. And like, having faith is not something that you could just like know. It's not something that just you could do some research and find out. Like, no, it takes God really showing himself to you. And that's what God did. He showed himself to me. And I am just so grateful because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to. And he really, really doesn't do that for everyone. Some people on this earth are not going to be followers of Jesus. Some people just aren't. And so to be able to be a follower of Jesus and to be able to have God show himself to me and love me unconditionally so much, just so much. He's loved me so much and just forgiven everything, with no question. Like, everything I've done in my past, everything that I regret, everything I am so ashamed of, he's just forgiven me, and it doesn't even matter anymore. I am so grateful for that. And I just want people to know that God is waiting for you. He's waiting at the door, and all you have to do is open it. And I just want people to know that Jesus is there for them, you know? In this time of really dark time, I feel like the world is in a very dark time right now. There's so much mental, like depression and anxiety, and just, not only that, but just, the world is just chaotic right now. And we really need Jesus. We really do. We are nothing without him. And we think we think we know love, but until we know God's love, we don't really know love, because God's love is like something that we can't even really, it's unimaginable. It's so great, it's so amazing, it's so unimaginable, because that's how much he loves us. And it's something that we can't really even comprehend. And I just want other people to feel that, to know that you are loved and you matter and you're here for a reason, and that God loves you so much. Yeah. It's just something that I've grown to be very passionate about, and God is slowly sanctifying my heart and sanctifying my life and being very gentle with me, but also sometimes being kind of things have been kind of hard. You know, I was living in Hawaii with the lava flow started happening. Like, I was living in Puna, and at the same time I started having these breathing issues, which I now know is acid reflux, LPR. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's kind of not so fun. But I've just learned so much through all of the pain in my life, all of the sorrows, all of everything. I wouldn't have known how much God loves me if I didn't have to go through all those hard times. And if you're going through a hard time, it does not mean God does not love you. It does not mean he's not there for you. He's just trying to teach you something. And he wants to hold your hand through it. He wants to be there for you through it. He wants you to run to him at the end of the day and surrender to him and to surrender to his love for you, because it's so abundant. Anyways, I'm going to be making more videos on this channel about Jesus and just things that I feel called to talk about. And I hope you guys like this video. It's my pleasure to share it with you. And yeah, alright, I'll talk to you guys later.